What if the internet went down forever? Imagine waking up one morning, no notifications, no messages, no emails. You try to refresh your feed, nothing. Your Wi-Fi is out. But when you check your mobile data, that is not working either. You turn on the news, and that's when you hear it. The internet is gone, and it's not coming back. For most people, the internet is just social media, entertainment, and maybe some work emails. But in reality, the entire world is held together by an invisible network of servers, satellites, and undersea cables. Without it, society wouldn't just slow down, it would collapse. So what would actually happen if the internet disappeared forever? Let's break it down. The immediate impact. The first few hours would feel like an inconvenience. No Google Maps, no online orders, no Netflix. But as the day goes on, it would become clear that this isn't just an outage. Banking and money? Well, your credit card is now useless. ATMs would work for a short time, but without digital banking, the cash supplies in these ATMs would run out quick. The stock market? Frozen completely, never changing again. Online banking in general? Gone. Communication breakdown? Phone calls might still work, but with no internet, messaging apps like WhatsApp, Discord, or iMessage would go almost completely dark. Businesses relying on cloud storage, they lose access to everything. Speaking of businesses and supply chains, supermarkets rely on online inventory systems. Gas stations process payments through the web. Within days, shelves would be empty and panic buying sets in. Without logistics data, supply chains grind to a halt. Travel and transportation. Airlines rely on the internet for flight navigation, scheduling, and booking. Planes wouldn't necessarily fall from the sky, but air travel would be chaos. Traffic systems, ride-sharing apps, and even modern gas stations, because of the pumps, would stop working. The long-term collapse. Let's talk about the long-term consequences of losing the internet forever. Economic meltdown. Businesses relying on online transactions would be completely gone. The entire stock market paralyzed. Digital payments obsolete. The global economy would plummet overnight, and governments would scramble to implement emergency measures. Healthcare systems. Most hospitals store patient records online. Many life-saving machines rely on internet connection for software and maintenance. Pharmacies would lose access to supply chains, meaning drug shortages would be inevitable. The rise of black markets. With digital banking gone, people turn to cash, gold, or bartering. But that also means organized crime thrives. The black market explodes as people look for ways to access restricted goods. Misinformation and panic. Without online fact-checking, rumors spread like wildfire. Governments would rely on radio and TV broadcasts, but without the internet, misinformation becomes even harder to combat. Attempts to rebuild. Some experts might attempt to rebuild networks using satellites or local intranets. Governments could invest in alternative infrastructure, but it would take years to restore global connectivity. Some places might even revert to older technologies, such as radio communication printed newspapers, cash transactions only, but our world is too dependent on the internet to function without it. Civilization wouldn't vanish, but it would change forever. With the death of globalization as we know it, many things would come to a halt, or a complete stop. Scientists wouldn't be able to communicate over long distances, meaning that research teams would have to be local and they would have to work together all the time. Many corporations would struggle to hire people or just go out of business entirely. Rise of local powers is most likely what would happen. Local governments would begin to implement military rule, curfews, paper-based citizen tracking. It would be chaos, and it would most likely spark riots. Life goes on. After a long period of having no internet, the first generation to grow up without internet would never know a world where you had instant knowledge, entertainment, or socialization at your fingertips.